Thank you very much. I understand we're live. We'd like to welcome all of you that have gathered here for this school board meeting on this 14th of July. We appreciate you coming. And please note that 3 board members are present here in the meeting room, along with Superintendent Dr. Lamb is joining us from Atlanta, Georgia. So she's joining us virtually. So at this time, I will call the meeting to order. I'm sorry, I better say too, Mr. McQuarrie is visiting England, and he has not joined us yet, and so I'm assuming that he probably won't be joining us virtually either. So I just want to let you know that. So at this time, I'll call the meeting to order, and first of all, would you join me in a moment of silence, please? Thank you very much. If you're able, would you stand and join me in saying the pledge to the American flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Item C is to adopt the agenda, and at this time I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Mr. Hart made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Davis seconded. In light of our special circumstances with the board meeting tonight, I'm going to poll each one of the board members. Dr. Lamb, I'll start with you. How do you vote?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Hart? And the chair votes yes, so it's 4, and that the agenda is adopted. Item B is communications. We don't have any recognitions tonight, I don't believe.
Correct.
And I hope each of you have had an opportunity to look over the site-based decision-making minutes at each one of our schools. And that's just for your information. And item C is audience comments. Don't believe we have none today. Do we have anyone? Any board members have anything they'd like to share? We good? All right, we come to item E, and that is superintendent. Some things he would like to share with us.
So the first couple of things that I'd like to share with you is over the last few weeks, we've received from KDE recognition for both our special ed department and our preschool department. Both of those have received their annual determination. Garrard County Special Ed received a meets requirement. That's the highest level of recognition that they can accomplish. So we want to share our appreciation with Ms. Congleton and her staff for accomplishing that. And if you're okay with it, I'll move on and say the same thing about item 2E2. Preschool has met the requirements as well, and again, that's as high as you can get, and that again goes back to Ms. Congleton and her crew. So the crew is what's important from her perspective, but we appreciate her leadership on it, and we're very happy to have the ability to say to all of you that both of those divisions, departments within the district have done exactly what they're supposed to do. That's it on that. We have construction update. Brad Beatty is here from Clotfelter Samakar. Anything to share?
Really with us at this point in the process, we're just going through, we're trying to get the finalized drawings put together for the first set of bid packages, which is an earthwork roofing package. We're hoping to be able to turn that over to Trace Creek so they can put their packages together for bid sometime early August. That way we can be out on the street mid-month and hopefully closing in on a bid date at the end of the month, first part of September, so that there's still time to get the major earthwork moving, happening before the bad weather season kicks in. We'll follow up with that with the construction bid packages shortly thereafter. We're working through and getting this drawings put together.
Any questions? And then each month we share with you personnel changes, so you've had a chance to take a look at those, and they're available to anyone who would like to see them. That will resolve our updates from my level.
Okay, thanks, sir. Item 3 is reports, and item A under reports is Kentucky Board of Education update.
So we have a great opportunity that no other district in the state has at this point. Joanna Stevens, teacher at Garrard County High School, math teacher there, has been selected to be the non-voting teacher representative to the Kentucky Board of Education. So every 2 months, she will be participating at KBE. And the month following that, we're going to ask her to come in and share information with you all about what she has learned. Might be what's coming. She may have questions for you, but she'll also be sharing some information with you. So she has not yet had her first official meeting, but she has attended a meeting, and we asked her if she would come tonight to introduce herself to you all, and then to kind of give you a heads up of what will be coming. So, Ms. Stevens.
So thank you for having me. As Mr. Stoll said, I teach math at the high school. This will be my 13th year of teaching, so hopefully lucky number 13. It's my 4th year at Garrard. I'm originally from Lincoln County, but when I was in high school, I went on a blind date with a boy from Garrard County, and now here we are. But I'm very honored. I'm very excited. But being honest, I'm also very nervous about this responsibility on the board. I guess I'll kind of share like why I applied for this, because that's kind of what I hope to get from it. But in my classroom, we talk a lot about chasing our dreams. That I realize that not all of my students love math as much as I do, and they won't use the quadratic formula in their daily life. I recognize that. But I do know they have a goal, or they should. We want to have them all to have goals and dreams. And no matter what they're going to do with their life, they need to collaborate, they need to persevere, and problem solve. So we talk about those through the whole year and how we need those things to chase our dream. And so at the end of the year, my goal is that they are more equipped, they're more empowered as mathematicians to problem solve, persevere, collaborate, to make those dreams a reality. That I want them to be productive members of society, and I want them to use their voice to have a positive impact. So if I'm asking my students to chase their dreams, as their teacher, I need to model that. And sometimes that means we have to do things out of our comfort zone, like going to the board meetings. But my dream is to improve education. And I do think right now we are facing a huge teacher shortage, and it's scary to see the future of education and how that's going to impact it. As a math teacher, I've seen this teacher shortage my entire career, that it's been difficult to find math teachers, but now we're seeing it in other areas of teaching at all grade levels. So I guess I want to use my voice to how can we make the teaching profession more attractive, so that we do attract candidates that want to make the difference in the classroom, that are some of our best and brightest, that we don't lower the standards to be a teacher, but we make the profession more attractive. And then also, I enjoy my day-to-day life in the classroom, that's where I want to be. I want that daily interaction with students. That's what I want right now for my career. But at the same time, professionally and personally, I'm excited to have a leadership opportunity, but I can still stay in the classroom. Because a lot of those opportunities in education, you leave the classroom. And right now I need that daily interaction with students. I realized with COVID how much I personally rely on seeing them face to face. So this will be a good opportunity for me to see, I think as teachers, sometimes we think all of the decisions are made by people who aren't in the classroom. So I'm excited to learn about how those decisions are made, and then to offer that perspective of how it impacts the classroom and students. students and teachers in the classroom. So do you all have any questions for me?
First of all, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
It's an honor to have a Garrett County representative there and bring us all the information you can.
I'm very proud.
Well, thank you, Ms. Sykes.
Mrs. Stevens. I am proud that you met Mr. Stevens.
Yes.
And that you're now a part of our school family.
Thank
And I'm proud that you want to continue in the classroom to make a difference each day, but then you also want to, as you said, about your comfort zone enough to impact education in different ways. So hats off to you, proud of you, and we'll support you any way we can. Thank you.
And I appreciate what you said too about your personal desire to be in the classroom with kids and to make an impact on them, and recognizing that the math is not every student's best subject,
Right.
but trying to make it, interesting and encourage them, to get involved in it. Plus, I think, we've had a lot of firsts in Garrett County that we haven't had in the last several years, and this is the first, I think, too, having one of our teachers as a non-voting representative on the Kentucky Board of Education. So I appreciate your desire, even though you're anxious about it and a little bit nervous, but I think you'll have a great impact and continue to put Garrett County on the map.
So I'm only the second teacher on, so the first teacher, her term ended and she had served 2 years. So I'm the second teacher on the board, and I have a 1-year term. I'm also serving with, we have a non-voting student member on the board, and she's from Boone County.
Ms. Stevens, I would just like to thank you for coming to the board tonight to speak to us. You don't need to be nervous when you come to the board. I think you have every word you spoke reflects leadership, so it's there for you. You just need to embrace that. So we're really fortunate to have you in our district and the work that you're doing, and the fact that you talk about being a role model for the students in your class just really speaks to me as an educator. That's really important to me. So thank you for coming tonight and sharing with us. And I'm just really excited that you're a part of our district and doing the work you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
So we look forward to her sharing with us.
Oh, yes.
6 or 7 times now
Yes.
over the next year. And I think we'll have a chance to learn a lot from Ms. Stevens and from the experiences that she has. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right, item B is the data security update.
So each year, we are required to update the board on the processes we have in place in order to make sure that the data that we have is secure. So Chris Lang, who is responsible for that, is going to provide a security's best practice update about what Garrett County does.
So first, I need to apologize to our folks on the line. I think I've had a little bit of an issue with frame rate, so some of it is audio only, but it looks like it should be clearing up, but now I'm sitting here, so I can't do much on that one. I've given an update every year on basically what we do data security wise. The way I've always done that is go through this is the best practices guide from KDE. I would just go straight through it. First, talking physical security, that's just how stuff is, our servers and switches are stored. They're all in locked rooms that should remain locked. Some of them do have other functions, but that other function tends to be a closet if it's not all by itself. 2 is file, print, web server security. Patching software is managed, or patching, the operating system is mostly done by KDE. They manage those, check them, and then release them to us. Third party, which is basically everything that's not Microsoft related. We have a server that's its sole job is to keep those and the desktops updated. We don't install extra stuff on the servers that don't need it. Basically, we don't multitask servers. We don't use them as daily drivers. We have in the past, that was years ago. And actually, most stuff isn't even on site anymore. finance, student information, library software, food service, all that stuff is cloud-based, which puts it mostly in the hands of the people that are the providers, which is actually a little bit better place for it to be because they can make sure to keep an eye on it as well when it's in their environment. Public-facing servers, we only have one public-facing server that still exists locally, and it is managed to these specifications, and we do check them. Desktop security is a lot of the same. Windows patches are managed by KDE. Everything else is managed by our third-party program. Antivirus, which is the wonderful thing that's killing my frame rate right now, is managed by KDE mostly. We keep tabs on it. It does a really good job, but it does add a burden to the system when it runs its nightly scans. Emails, that's ever since we switched to Google, we've had a little bit more control over basically trying to keep as much stuff out and flagging things that are potential phishing, because we get a lot of attacks that are very targeted, using principals' names, using Mr. Saul's name, and if you look at the address, it's not even close to a Garrard address. So those get tagged. I try to send, as I see new attacks coming out, send out some information. Hey, here's this attack and why what are the keys. Usually I find those really amusing. I don't know how other people feel about them. Access control and account permissions. This has actually been something that we've worked on for the last several years and has gotten really good. Just good communication, primarily between me and finance and HR. As people come and go, we get them set up pretty quick. And as they leave, it's pretty easy to check and go, okay, these are the people that are leaving, and turn those off at the appropriate times, depending on whether that's at the end of the contract or in some cases more immediately. Most of the accounts, permission-wise, I usually always try to make that a two-person system going through the other supervisors in the district to make sure somebody needs something, and 99% of the time when somebody asks, they do need it, but I always want to double check to make sure people have what they need, but not have enough to potentially get in trouble with. Local admin, that's being my two technicians. Strength and password requirements, that came out end of the previous school year, 2020. And so we've strengthened those to the 15-character passwords that expired. On that note, what is coming, just to give you all a heads up, KDE is producing what they call their security baseline. So they are wanting to up our security even further. It's something I was trying to do before they started this, and then once they started, I was told to just stop because they're going to do something that is conflicting. The one thing I do know is it's going to contain multi-factor authentication, meaning to log in, you'll have to provide either authenticator app on the phone or a security token or some I have piece versus just an I know, which is a password. So I will know much more about that by next Thursday, because that is when we have a regional meeting on that. So if there's anything I need to make you all aware of on that one, we'll be communicating with staff on that, because that's going to be a big change to run to multi-factor. But one thing, when KDE started talking about the going from 8 characters to 15 characters, I can't remember what the exact numbers were, but to break an 8-character password by just straight brute force with computing power available at the time was thousands of years. It's now down to a couple of weeks to do an 8-character, which is why we updated it to a 15. Those numbers will start getting smaller, and there are things we do to prevent brute force attacks, that's why MFA is becoming a big thing, because passwords just aren't as secure, so having that second piece is becoming pretty necessary. That is my update. If you have any questions, comments, concerns?
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Do a good job.
Item C is treasurer's report.
So I think all of you have had a chance to take a look at that. Ms. Coffey is here if you had any questions. If I were to try to summarize it, if you look at where we ended this year versus last year, you're about $800,000 to the good. And so we feel like that's a positive thing. A lot of that comes obviously from the 5-cent equalization on your third nickel. But for whatever reason there is, it still is a positive. Your general fund is up about $250,000 over last year. So again, we feel like that's a very positive piece for you. And if you have any questions about that, I'll either attempt to answer it or we'll ask Ms. Coffey to do so.
Anybody have any questions? Dr. Lamb, are you hearing everything okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, if not, we'll go to item D, which is a bond potential update.
So each month, Bear Financial provides you with an estimate of what your bonding capacity would be if you bonded at the interest rate that they show. And you're right at just under 38 million this month. You can take a look at the interest rates and see why all the changes have been occurring. I did speak with them again today just to confirm that what I'm sharing with you today is still as accurate as it could be, and they felt like it was. There have been some school activities going on. Christian County went to bid, and it wasn't the best result for them. Part of the reason that's being suggested is because they did a general contractor where Woodford County went to bid and still didn't like the numbers that they had, but they were better than what they were afraid they could have had. And their benefit was because the construction management team, and that happened to be Trace Creek. And so in the conversations today, the thing that stood out is that the construction managers do a great job of trying to get more bids during the packages that are out there, which improves the opportunity for the district. So while we're not at all excited about the interest rates, we can't control that. But we are excited about the fact that if Trace Creek is working for us as they did with Woodford County, which I'm sure they will, that'll be more beneficial than some of the other numbers that are out there. So we'll keep you informed as those things go on.
Thank you, sir. Item E is bills as presented.
You all get those on a weekly basis, plus I go to each board meeting. You not only have this month's payables, but last month, because we had an earlier board meeting, there were some that we were not able to post, so we've added those for your site and also the year-end payables.
Okay, thank you, sir. Item 4 is the consent agenda. There is quite a bit on the consent agenda. It goes from items A through H, unless any board member wants to pull something out for any specific reason. I will entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda as it is presented.
So moved.
Mr. Hart made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Lamb. We've got a motion and a second. Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Lamb voted yes. Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
The board is yes, so the vote was 4 out of the 4 that are present. All right, the consent agenda then is adopted. Now, we move to item 5, which is the action agenda. And under the action agenda, item A is to approve adding Director of Community Education to the Director of Public Relations job description.
Last month, I think we shared with you the desire to do this, but we tabled it until we had assurances from KDE that we could do this. We went through a waiver process with them, and we did find out that there are numerous districts that are doing this same type of thing because of the finances that are lacking from this program. We were approved through the waiver in about 24 hours, so that means we answered their questions correctly. So my recommendation to you to take a look at this for the coming year, and we will give you a report next spring as to the effectiveness of this, because we still have the same requirements around this. We have to track amount of time spent, amount of time used, things of that nature. My recommendation is that we combine these two positions and use the revenue that we can save from this as an outreach opportunity.
Thank you. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept, that we combine these positions.
Thank you, Ms. Davis made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hart seconded. Do you have any questions or comments? All right, there being none, Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Lamb voting yes. Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Davis, yes. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So item A is approved. Item B is to approve converting English learner classified position to certified position.
We currently don't have a certified position for our English learning needs for our students, but we have the opportunity to do something with that. We have an individual who will be able to move into the teaching component. And because we have that opportunity, we think that it better serves our students to actually have a teacher in that role rather than just classified staff. So it's my recommendation to you that we approve the conversion from a classified position to a certified position.
Thank you, sir. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move that we go to a certified position
Thank you.
and honor to do that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Ms. Davis made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hart seconded. Any questions or comments?
It's just that I'm so proud that Garrard County has the capability of doing that, having worked with this program in the past. Sort of, actually, we initiated it in Garrard County in 03, and it's grown, and that we can say our population has increased so much. So I'm thrilled that we can have a teacher in that position.
Anybody else? Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dr. Lamb votes yes. Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Hart?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So, item B is approved. Item C is to approve apprenticeship building America grant and job description.
So you all did not see this in our individual meetings because we didn't have all the information available to you. But once again, we can come to you and say, Garrard County has been selected to be a part of the Apprenticeship Building America grant. We will receive $65,000 a year for a position that will go to the high school. And that position will be used to help provide career opportunities for students at the high school, not necessarily college opportunities, but career opportunities. Mr. Hurd, I know you mentioned that at our June meeting. So we see this as a great opportunity to support our students in another way. So my recommendation is that you approve the ABA grant and the job description for this position.
Thank you, sir. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Hart made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Dr. Lamb seconded. Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So, item C is approved. Item D is to approve emergency certified teaching position for Lancaster Elementary School.
A few minutes ago, you heard Stevens talk about the challenge that exists right now with teacher shortages. And my hope is this is the only one that we ask for from you all this year. But we do need to ask to approve an emergency certified teaching position at Lancaster Elementary. We had hoped that this could be an option 6 position for us, but it could not. So we would like to still maintain that individual. And based on the number of applicants that we had, this is still the right thing for us to do. So my recommendation is that you approve an emergency certified teaching position at Lancaster Elementary.
Thank you, sir. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Hart made the motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Ms. Davis seconded. Any questions, comments? Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Item D is approved. Item E is to approve stipend increase for safe crisis management training.
So we have 2 safe crisis management trainers who have not seen a stipend increase as part of our salary adjustments. And they play an incredibly important role to make sure that our staff knows how to appropriately deal with children who might need to be restrained for some reason. I think it's only fair that when we're dealing with the numbers that we're asking them to deal with, that we consider this increase. My recommendation is that we're going to increase their stipend from $800 to $1,500. There's two of them, so it's a minimal amount on our part, but that would be my recommendation to you, that we make this adjustment.
Thank you, sir. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move.
Ms. Davis made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Lamb, second. Any questions or comments? Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So item E is approved. Item F is to approve competition field trips for 22-23 students.
As you all know, there are occasions when individual students or teams compete at a particular level and they win and move forward. And frequently when that happens, there is no time for a board approval of the field trip that's coming up. So what we're proposing to do tonight is you all giving us permission to approve that on your behalf on those rare occasions when it occurs. It won't happen a ton of times, and it will not apply to any other field trip opportunity. But this way we can go back if we ever need to and have a board order that says the board said that yes, we can make approvals of this. So my recommendation to you is that we approve these competition field trips and allow the superintendent to do so on your behalf when those competitions occur.
Thank you, sir. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Hurd made the motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Ms. Davis, second. Do you have any questions? Any board members?
Just to confirm, you've checked on the legality of this.
We're good.
Anybody else? Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Item F is approved. Item G is to approve community action Head Start agreement for the 22-23 students.
Community Action Head Start is a partner with us. This would be the third year that I've asked you to approve this, and the contract is really no different than what we've had in the past. So my recommendation to you is that we approve the Community Action Head Start agreement for the 22-23 school year.
Thank you, sir. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve this contract.
Ms. Davis made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Dr. Lamb, second. Do you have any questions or comments? Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Item G is approved. Item H is to approve presence learning agreement for Garrett County High School evaluations.
So in order to provide some supports for GCHS when it comes to reevaluations or potentially new evaluations, we need to enter this contract. If you'll remember last June or this past June, we asked for a position at CDR and we told you we weren't sure whether we would be able to fill that position or not. We've been able to fill it, but not fully. We've been able to fill it with I think a 0.69 position. So the additional funds that you made available for that would be funds used to cover the cost of presence learning to student evaluations in Garrett County High School. We're not asking for any funds. We're asking for the approval of this contract so that we can move forward with that as an option. That would be my recommendation to you.
Thank you, sir. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Hurd made a motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Mr. Davis, second. Anybody have any questions? Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Item H is approved. Item I is to approve surplus of food service equipment.
Anytime we need to do surplusing, we come to you with this request. You have some pictures available if you'd like to see those. But it's my recommendation that we grant the request to surplus the equipment for food service.
Thanks, sir. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the surplus.
Ms. Davis? Thank you. Ms. Davis made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hurd, second. Anybody have any questions? Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Item I is approved. Item J is to approve Main Street media use of the Garrard County Educational Classroom.
So I think I've mistyped something there. I think it is Main Street. I think on the recommendation I've listed hometown, so I apologize for my error there. Main Street Media is the organization that helps provide services, broadcast services for our athletic events. And they would like to increase their presence with Garrard County. So in conversation with them, we recognized that they needed a location. We have a room. It's the last room down this hallway on the right, which used to be our alternative school area. That's been moved back into our schools, so we're not displacing anyone. We would like to make that available to them with the board's permission, knowing that we also will obtain access to their equipment. And I think that that will be a plus for us, for the district. So my recommendation is that we approve facility use for Main Street Media at the GEC building.
Thank you, sir. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Herb made the motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Mr. Davis has a second. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty good deal, I think,
Hope so.
for
Exciting opportunity for our students.
exciting opportunity for students.
We didn't even talk about that part of it, so that was a little bit further down the road.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
Jumping the gun.
We hope, so since you brought it up, we
Okay.
hope eventually to be able to have students in a pathway there who can be the broadcasters and actually put our current broadcasters out of work. I won't name any names of who those people are, but Scott Boland and Caleb Gresham, we won't call their names.
Their initials are Scott Ball and Kevin Gresham.
Glad to be on your A game this year.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have a motion?
We did,
And a second?
we do.
Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Hurst? And the chair votes yes. Item J is approved. We're looking forward. Hey, we come to item 6. And
Mr.
Mr.
McCreary's not
McCreary, on the other side of the world, who's gonna make the motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Hurst made the motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I second.
Ms. Davis seconded. Dr. Lamb, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Hurst, and the chair votes yes, we're adjourned. Dr. Lamb, good to have you all the way from
Yes.
Atlanta. Thank you for your participation.
You're
Thank all
welcome.
of you. Huh?
I said you are welcome. Thank you for making it possible.
Oh, yes, we're